who's doing this stuff on a day-to-day basis, and this is every day. Life matters the most when you just breathe into a front double bicep. Like, clean out what you're watching. What is up? It's your boy Johnny Vive. BB Promos at Tell Like It Is. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm reacting to a video I saw on Greg's channel, and it was about
body dysmorphia. Joe Fazer, David Lade, William Lee, Dylan McKnight, Alex Eubank, Zach Perna, the list goes on. And what do they have in common? They all suffered from body dysmorphia, leading to mental health concerns for all of them.
Okay, so that was the video. Go check it out. And he says a lot of things that are very blunt and honest. They're in your face. Everyone knows Greg, how he delivers. But for me, it's like, hey, I'm gonna say the same thing and put my 2 cents in this, and then you guys will hear it a different way. Some people don't want to hear, some people can't hear as much as what he's saying the way he says it, And I'm gonna say, and to be completely honest, transparent, you guys have heard me say it before, and this is something that I've had to go through myself in terms of, getting myself in a healthy place mentally. Was like, who is the person in your head, that's talking to you? Does he sound like a angry hockey dad, or is he like he or she or whatever? Is that voice encouraging, or is it like constantly beating you down? Shaming you or putting high expectations and never really like rewarding you, but just kind of like that tough heart. Like, what is that in your head? And I always say, like, get to a place where we understand. We're listening and we're aware of like what voice is your, because that's you talking to yourself. And for me, it's like, if we can say things a little more differently, maybe some people could hear the same message, but even more. I don't know. Some people don't watch Greg. Some people watch me. And here's what I'm saying in terms of this. Now, when it comes to like, does everybody have body dysmorphia, in the industry? I believe a lot of people do. Do I believe those people that he mentioned? For me to say yes or no would be speculating 100%, because I don't know them. I don't know how they're off camera. They could be literally... And here's the scenario, because I always have to say this, honestly, and I play these scenarios in my head. You got to think of like an ultra confident person that just plays the role. You know what I mean? Like, how many of these guys are just they know exactly what they're doing to get the views that they want. They know they got to put a little drama in their, in their journey. They know they got to put a little, these are like, we got to understand, like, and when it comes to like creating, and I take a very like young approach because my editors are very young, right? And I can see where it goes, and I see there's a lot more strategy with things. So like, for me to be like, this person has muscle dysmorphia or body dysmorphia, I'm gonna be like, I can't say it, but I can definitely say that some of the things that they do are showing signs of body dysmorphia, right? So are they acting like it? Yes. Do I think they are going through it? I would be leaning towards probably yes. But in terms of like understanding what it actually is, because it's not just something that just them or they are going through or can go through. It is a legit, like, and that's why I want to say things very loosely, because like body dysmorphia, it's a mental illness. Like, that is it's an actual thing. It's not like something you can be like,
hey man, depression.
You know what I mean? You can't be like,
oh yeah, hey man, borderline personality disorder.
Hey man, like, this is a legitimate thing that can take precedence in your life and have a extremely negative effect on your quality of life. And within that in itself, that sends off a domino effect of an unhealthy mind in terms of, not being able to be sustainable in the mind. Your body starts to wear off as well too. That's why you see a lot of the example Greg makes in this video are to the tune of really good looking young kids that are, that are now, they're not able to sustain the mental with the physical because of how low they are in calories and understand what he's preaching and whatnot. So I get that. So understanding what that is like throwing that term out, body dysmorphia, isn't something you can be like, yeah, man, you got body dysmorphia. That's like saying you have, an ED, and we're touchy about that. So like, I'm very careful to do that. And here's another reason why I'm careful to do that. If I want to really help somebody, this is me, there ain't nobody else, this is just me. If I really want to help somebody out, and I believe that that person is watching this video right now, I'm not going to say, you have body dysmorphia. I went through the process. I've been through, I'm still in therapy. I understand, well, like, you don't want to, like, ED anything like that, you do not point out like this. That's not going to work. That doesn't work for me. And I think sometimes people can just tune off from that. So understanding or how I see that is I see the same thing as like saying borderline personality traits or borderline personality disorder. I went through that. I've been through it. Diagnosed. Like I'm very open with that. That's been something I've talked about openly. So when it comes to like saying somebody has a mental illness, I'm very reluctant to be like, yes. It's like those are traits for sure. Those are definite traits of muscle dysmorphia, and understanding body dysmorphia anyway, just so you can understand, like, here's a teaching moment. What the heck is body dysmorphia? Can it only be for, those influencers? It's basically having this like extremely, altered perception of an imbalance of your looks, your physique, right? So very, very simple. Me being like, oh man, I got to go back to the gym. My biceps look really, really small today. They're not as big as the other one. Like I need to go work harder. And then I'll like go and I'll like actually do something I might go back to the gym to train my one arm, or I'll obsess over so much that it makes me not, it really takes away from my energy. Like something as simple, like you're like, wait, Johnny, but your arms look good. Exactly. That's exactly it. Stuff like that. Finding like flaws that don't exist, basically trying to find something wrong. You know what I mean? And there's nothing actually wrong, right? That would be body dysmorphia. And that would be like, it'll be more prevalent in someone that looks like myself. Someone who looks really good or whatever, like, and that's why these guys are an example of showing those traits and how they're acting. They're always, I need to chase this look. Do I need to do steroids? I need to train a little hard. I got to be this body fat percentage because, I need to get better views or whatever. And I can see that. I can see that for sure. We want to make this a teaching moment. Like, and what do we do? Here's like how we prevent this. And if you already feel that you are showing those traits, then we start talking about it. So for me, number one, it's like, look, to prevent this no matter what, we need to figure out like, and regardless if you're trying to figure it out, regardless if you're trying to prevent it or try to recover from it, there's this a massive element of self-love. And it's like, oh man, we talking about Johnny, like whatever, like seriously, like I found value within myself the more I learned to actually love myself. And like, what do you mean? It's like, the way I look right now, the way I dress, my hair, to my earrings, to my tattoos, everything I have on my body is for me. Like, it's like, it's for me. It's not for any, like, I like the way I look. There was at one point where I didn't like the way I looked. I would shave my head all the time. It would be either off or on. I'd shave it all the time because I didn't like the in-between phase. I couldn't really get a head for whatever, so I went through those little things, right? So I get it. But when I started to really like understand, like, this is like, I like this person, like this is me. That was like the beginning of when I really understood my true value in terms of me being able to even scale myself with my own business. And it trickles downhill. If you don't see yourself, if you don't love yourself, you will not give yourself the most amount of value that you need. And you will undervalue yourself in every single thing that you do. I'm saying this with complete and utter experience. And going through that and then things that work for me. Really truly understanding that, self-love will be that life-changing event when you're like, holy geez, like I love myself. Like you demand more respect, and you demand more respect from yourself first, which is like, that's like the most empowering thing ever. When it's like, you have this like, proper understanding of like, here's my value and here's my values. And you live your life to those highest values, everything else falls into place. Right? You're starting to self-love, right? And acceptance. And this is where the conversation could be in another, I'll let this video go long. I don't care. Shoot. Look, when it comes to body positivity, body acceptance, here's the definition that I believe that it should be 100% body. And I'll stand by this. Accepting your body for what it is accepting your body for where it should be at its most healthiest in terms of body fat and muscle distribution. So whatever you get after that, whether your hips are wide, your hips are narrow, your shoulders are wide, your shoulders are narrow, your chest is a little bigger, your quads a little bit, whatever you're left with, whatever you get naturally that God is, you are born with this. That's what you get, and that's what you look like at your healthiest of sustainable body fat percentage and muscle that you can be. That is accepting your body. That is body acceptance. Accepting that for what it is. You worked hard for it. You put effort into it. It took, the dedication or sacrifice at one point became more of like a reward. You know what I mean? That is what you have. That is accepting being able to do that with your healthy living body. That's what accepting that for what it is. Nobody is perfect. There's bodybuilders, myself, I'm competing in 15 weeks to try to be perfect, which is completely and utterly impossible. It's impossible you will never be, no one is perfect. No one is perfect. There's makeup, there's fashion, there's period. No one's perfect. If there was perfection, there would be no fashion, there would be no makeup, there would be no nothing. There wouldn't be trends. It wouldn't matter. No one is perfect. Accepting that right there is like, okay, good. We're off on a good start. You know what I mean? Like, and start early. We're off on a good start. Cool. I like who I am. And then if you're not there, then you start to. A big thing for me was understanding facts and judgments. And this is a big thing that really helped me out. Those are the real facts. Like right now, I'm wearing a Lakers jersey, 24, Kobe Bryant, Adidas, the color. That's a fact. You know what I mean? Kobe Bryant was an absolutely amazing basketball player. That's a fact. My hat says iron sharpens iron. That's a fact. You know what I mean? You guys watch this. You might be bored. That's a judgment. I don't know. Like it's not a fact, right? I feel fat. That's not a fact. The fact is you lost 10 pounds, or like your workouts are a little longer now. You don't get tired anymore through your sets. You're going for walks and it's a breeze now. Those are facts. Well, I feel like my left arm's too small than my right. You measure it. Right? Oh my God, I feel like I'm getting smaller. There's facts in there. You've gotten big. There's things we can do that I have to consistently do in my life is like, let's list off the facts. I go through imposter syndrome all the time. I have to list off the facts of my life, right? The facts are that my business is, increasing. My channel is getting better. My knowledge is getting better. Those are facts. Me having imposter syndrome, those are judgments. Having understanding that. And then one of the big things in the whole grand scheme is how much exposure body types are there, or what's around. Like honestly, like when I have my channel and I try to really just give out the most amount of transparent information there is possible. I tell like what I have, what I've built is like, that's me. I can do this. This is me. You can't do what I do, period. That's how it is. Right? Do I understand that there's, a notion out there that, what I do, if I do what Johnny does, I'll get like him. Yeah, I know that. So I have to make sure people understand that you can only do what your body can actually do. And that's what I preach. So the person that looks like me is trying to preach to you something that would maybe be opposite of what someone like me would preach. So when it comes to like your social media and trying to like avoid, body dysmorphia, is your environment. What are you taking in? Who are you following? If you have body dysmorphia and all you're doing is following like, fitness modeled, channels and stuff, and nothing is of any like substance in terms of like knowledge that can help change your life, and if it's just like someone just sitting there doing like all day long and doing like, bodybuilding classic, like who sits in a chair like I don't know, like who's doing this? Like who's doing this? Just on a daily, what's going on, guys? Cool. Yeah, really, like who's doing this stuff on a day-to-day basis, and this is every day. Life matters the most when you just breathe into a front double bicep. But seriously though, like, clean out what you're watching. That's one of the biggest things. Like, you know, follow empowering things. Follow pages and people that are trying to empower you, that are going to give you some type of like substance in life that can help, you know, save your life or change your life for the better. Real talk. So, you know, just check your environment. Don't take in so much unrealistic stuff, right? My page, my Instagram is business. Everything is business, and I have some that I follow for, you know, just for the sake of following, and people that I just follow. It's there. But like for me, it's not, there's not a standard of what I'm looking. I'm like, oh, look at this. Okay, I have to be this person. You know, for me, this has never been about that ever. And I've been blessed that way. I went from just being like a really competitive person to finding a place where I could be competitive again and chase my goal of being a professional athlete. It's never been a self-worth thing to me. I love the excitement of competing, you know, like I'm competitive, and here's a chance I can be really competitive. So don't put your wealth and worth into environments that aren't giving you anything like that you can help, you know, build yourself up. This year, the most for me, I have been doing more stuff like outdoors. I was doing flag football, you know, I'm a competitive archer. You know, I'll go for runs. I'll, you know, do stuff outside. Don't be focused on how much, what the body looks like, but more so what it can do. Like, let's be serious. If you're a functional moving human being, I can promise you right now that your body looks pretty good, right? Like your physique will be a byfactor of a healthy, functional, moving body. And that's what you have to look at. Like, change the thought process around. It's like, it doesn't matter how good looking you can look. If you can sprint 10 yards without getting gassed, we got an issue. So you should be able, hey, someone should be like, hey man, can you jump on my rec dodgeball team? You should, anybody watching this should be able to be like, yo man, I need you to play my dodgeball team tonight and do good. And if you can't, and you look good, and you can't do a full like game of dodgeball without like, and you can't duck and dodge and duck and whatever it is, it don't matter how good you look, right? It's how good your body can actually move. A healthy body internally that has healthy, functional moving joints is a good looking physique. The bifactor is at the end of the totem pole. It's at the very bottom. Like, that's not our goal. Our goal is to be healthy on the inside, right? And then, like, honestly, the best thing is when it comes down to it, if whether you're feeling like you're in this position or not, avoiding it, preventing it, or just getting away from it, talk about it. And that's why it's like, regardless of how Greg puts it out or not, the fact that he's talking about it is a massive thing, because we need to talk about it more. And honestly, for me, I have a daughter. I have a little girl who is already well versed in electronics. Like, there's no avoiding it. There's no like, get away from the screens. What do you think she'll be using by time she's actually in school? Like, there's already screens. You had to integrate them in a healthy way. Regardless of that, I know that she's going to be introduced in this world eventually. That we have to have these things out in the open more. Because when it comes to your mental health, it's an extremely important thing where it will determine your overall longevity of your life. Not just on how good you look, your life. You will add years or take away years based on your mental health. So, talk about it. The more we talk about it, the more we can share it, the more we can bring awareness to it, the more we can bring light to it, the more we're not alone in this entire journey we call life. Anyway, guys, for more videos, check these ones out right here, guys. Until next time, grab my ebook. Add me on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Send me your progress pics, your training pics, and your video clips, and I'll repost it for you. You know it is. Iron sharpens iron, progressive overload your life. In the meantime, keep you chasing. Peace.